It's only preseason, but I'm hyped. Neil Funk, Jimmy G, buckets, gets buckets. Oh my goodness! Give me the hot sauce, Neil Funk. Give me the hot sauce. What are you doing, Dragic? Did you not get the memo? Derrick Rose can go upstairs.
Time for episode 115 of Gimme the Hot Sauce. Sorry about that abrupt start to the show, but we're ready to roll. Tim's back from Florida, not even looking that lobsterish. And Stacey's back from Paris after having a good time overseas.
Oh, oui.
Why don't we start there? That was a great trip. It seemed like the players, the coaches, everybody had a lot of fun, including our own Stacey King.
Yeah, Mark, it was an awesome trip. Had 3 days off. Got a chance to see the Eiffel Tower. Got to go to see Mona Lisa. Mona Lisa is her name. We had a great time. I think all the players had a great time. They looked fresh. I was really surprised with the way they came out and played that game against Detroit. Had a lot of energy. They didn't look fatigued at all. Great having DeMar DeRozan back, and it was a good win. That's 2 wins in a row. Before we went out to Paris, we beat Golden State at home, so that was a big win for us. And Vooch had a huge game. So that's we're starting to look good now.
Let's get back to the Paris trip. I saw on your social media, posted a bunch of photos from the Eiffel Tower, different museums and stuff. You normally don't go out that much on the road, but you made a point to get to see all the sites in Paris with Adam and Mark Brady and some of the security guys.
Yes. No, we didn't go into security guys, Mark, because we didn't need security.
Okay.
We don't need security. I'm a man of the people. Okay. I was voted one of the sexiest men in Paris. You don't need security when you're one of the sexiest men in Paris.
Well, sometimes it's exactly why you need security.
Yeah, I had a German escort. We had a model. She escorted us around Paris. She's from Chicago. Her name is Susanna. Shout out to Susanna, who's right now in Mannheim, Germany. She went back to Germany, but she took us around Paris and showed us a good time, a real good time.
Mm-hmm.
Real good time. I mean, no, come on, guys, get your minds out the gutter.
Yeah, okay, Mr. Moulin Rouge.
Oh, no.
If you're watching the YouTube feed, you see the cover, Stacey in Paris.
Listen, it's like, hey,
they sold 3 copies, I heard.
Wow.
Tim's ready to go. He's got saving material.
There you go. He's been saving up that one. He's been waiting to say that.
Day.
Yeah, look
all
at him.
Day.
Look at him. No, but seriously, though, we had a great time. It was a lot of fun because I went there, I think, when I was 25, and I didn't really appreciate all the things at that age. I didn't appreciate the artwork, the architecture, the buildings. I didn't really appreciate like I do now that I'm in my 50s.
Yeah,
I have an appreciation for art. I have appreciation for the structures of the buildings and the history that went along with Paris. And so I really enjoyed this trip. And I didn't know because I haven't been. I mean, I went there in 1993, so it's been a long time. So going there this time, things have changed. The previous time I went there, you couldn't get up in the Eiffel Tower. They were doing construction. So to be able to get up into the Eiffel Tower, as high as it was, oh man, woo, America. I mean, it's like Empire State Building. Seriously, there's still levels you can go up, and they were doing construction. But where we were at, they have a big, circular, path that you can walk around with telescopes. You can see the whole city of Paris. It's even better when the lights come up. When the lights come up, we're walking out. No expectations. We were like, all right, we spent the whole day at the Eiffel Tower. It's really awesome, dude. Then the lights kick on, boom, and it makes the Eiffel Tower like gold. And then all of a sudden, it lights up like a Christmas tree, like all these white lights, boom, 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 and it is one of the coolest things you'll ever see.
So while Stacey was in Paris, Tim was getting back from Fort Myers, Florida. Tell the folks about your adventures in Fort Myers, Florida.
Well, no more psychos, so yeah, that going.
You got rid of that guy?
Yeah, and then my neighbor insisted on taking down a tree with me.
Yeah,
except he's 90 years old. He shows up early Sunday morning, sawing away. He's like, "You don't need a chainsaw or anything. I got this." And telling me I'm doing it wrong, pulling the saw back out of my hands, and
he's just doing it manually with an old-fashioned saw.
Yeah, and then he's like, "You
hacksaw."
And then he's like, "You can go back inside. I got this." I'm like, "Okay." So
wow.
I was pretty impressed, though.
So how's the new home coming along?
It's great. It's all set, ready to roll.
So when Stacey and I want to went on there and then take advantage of it, it's open, right?
We should head out next week.
Get away from this cold weather.
It's not going to happen, Mike. Don't listen to this guy. This guy, the door will be locked.
There's a stun baton there.
You know what? If we even get up on the property, we'll be arrested. Don't even listen to that.
Yeah, I did put you on the do not let in list.
See. You know what?
Well,
Like-
craziness follows, Tim. You had a police chase in your neighborhood today?
Yeah, that'll be on the news tonight. So
Yeah.
They didn't ask
Tell
you
us
for
a
a
little bit
comment?
about that, Tim.
and,
Tell us a little bit
they
about that.
apprehend the guy between my neighbor's house and my house.
Right.
And I guess there's 3 guys, but one of the guys ran on foot after crashing a Mercedes or something he was trying to steal. And so yeah, I got on my Ring camera. One of the cops walking up screaming and saying,
Hands up, get your hands up, yelling. And you know what I said? America. The police came out there. They said, hey, hey, put your hands up, and hey, no one got shot. No one got, the ambulance didn't come. I don't know why, but it didn't happen.
It doesn't sound bad, does it?
I think it was Pava looking for his paycheck.
I don't know.
Actually, it
all I know is that Ring camera was pretty cool. I like
Yeah.
that ring. No wonder why when I come there, he doesn't answer the door. I always act like he's gone. He can see me in the Ring camera. Wow. Wow.
And you hear the click.
Yeah. Okay. So now I know that the Ring camera works. I'll be say, open the damn door, Tim. I know you see me.
That's right.
Tim's not just screening calls; he's screening visits as well.
Nice.
You got to do what you got to do these days.
Larry the
That's for sure.
Lobster. Larry the
So I
Lobster.
just got renewed my concealed carry yesterday too. So
I tell you, let's look at this hot sauce
Yeah.
right here. Let's sell this hot sauce, America. This is how red Tim is. So if you're not seeing this right now, you may not be able to see the color right now, but this is as red as Tim is right now. He's about as red as this bottle right here.
it's not too bad.
Look. Ah!
So the Bulls are back from Paris,
The Bulls are
refreshed
back.
and rejuvenated. They've got 4 games coming up this week. If you're optimistic, Stacey, you could say they got a shot to win all of these and have a 6-game
You
winning
know
streak.
what? You know what, Mark? Since you just brought that up, okay, I just got to complain.
All right.
Okay, we flew 16, 17 hours back and forth, for 5 days for one game. The NBA has no sympathy
I know.
for any of us. They just don't. And I'll probably get fined. I'll blame it on Tim. But at the end, here we are now. We go 17 hours over to France, play one game, fly all the way back. Took 9 hours to fly back. Okay, we got a game on Monday, back to back with Indiana and Atlanta, Monday and Tuesday. Fly to Charlotte, then fly to Orlando for the weekend. It's like,
Yeah.
how in the world are you going to make the Bulls after just going over there and having to do their responsibilities? Because it wasn't just playing basketball. They had, PR stuff they had to do over there. So you were working, so, and then to be able to have to come back and fly, on the East Coast, because you're still, your mind's still stuck on the time change. Like I was going to bed, honestly, in France, like 6 a.m. While you guys were, I don't know what you were doing. It was an afternoon or something, but it was like 8 o'clock, I think, your time. And I was going to bed. I was trying to stay on true to Chicago time, but that failed after 2 days. That wasn't working. So, and I came home on Friday. We got in at 1 o'clock, but once we went through all customs, we got out of customs by 4. We had to wait for our bags. So I wasn't at home until 5 o'clock. And you know what I did on my way home when I came home, Mark? You think I would just go home, get into bed, and relax? I went to the Future concert.
All right.
Yes. I took my kids to the Future concert, and I'm gonna tell you something, America. That was the best decision I made. I mean, between taking naps in between acts, I had a pretty good time.
Naps in between acts. That's-
Every time, because it took 30 minutes for the next act to come on.
Right.
So I was like taking power naps, 30-minute naps. I had one of my boys wake me up when the next guy comes on, and then I wake up. So I did about 4 times, but I had a really good time. I didn't know Future was that. I listened to Future's music, but I didn't know he was that good in concert. And they brought out Lil Durk, they brought out G Herbo, they brought out a lot of Chicago drill rappers. Which was a surprise because they were not on the marquee. They was like Future and Friends. So it could have been anybody. In Atlanta, it was Little Baby, and they had some other people. But they had ESTG, who's a big-time rapper out of Memphis. They had Lil Durk, G Herbo, some female acts out of Chicago. I didn't really get their name. Lil Jeremy was on there. So they had a really, really good card.
Yeah, and obviously Tim that's not up to speed with some of those acts, right?
No, he just
No.
listens to Clay Aiken. When Clay Aiken had a concert and Howdy Doody came to town, the ventriloquist, the little doll.
Yeah.
Tim was there. There was only 3 people, and Tim
he
had a
is
box
really
seat.
he is really good though.
Yeah, look at
One
him.
of, one of the most
That-
underestimated
that-
acts of 2022.
Clay Aiken is that's what they call. We were in Vegas one time, right? We're playing this, playing craps.
Yeah.
And so Tim gets into it with another guy, so the guy says, hey, Clay Aiken, because he called him Clay Aiken. And so it kind of stuck on the trip. It was pretty funny, and then, there's a whole story to all that, but I don't want to get into it right now because what goes on in Vegas stays in Vegas.
There was a big event going on in Paris. Derek Jones Jr. got engaged, and it was all caught on videotape. That was a pretty nice moment.
Congratulations to DJ. He's a great kid, man. So good to see him finally getting some consistent minutes too. He's playing really, really well. With Javonte being out, it's giving him opportunity to get some meaningful minutes, and he's playing well. I mean, I think he had 4 dunks in that game. Like, he was flying all over the place. And then I guess engagement will do that to you. You just feel like you want to jump out the gym after you get engaged. I don't know that feeling. I don't know that feeling, Mary, because I'm one of the 10 most sexiest bachelors, in Chicago right now. So I don't know that feeling.
You're watching on YouTube. You see the photo of Derek Jones and his lovely fiance with the ring. A very nice moment for them. Obviously, everybody enjoyed the trip, and they're back. And Billy talked about the fact afterwards that got a chance to do some things away from the basketball court as a team. Zach said he had a great time. He'd love to go back to Paris. So, the hope is, like we've been talking about all year, could this be the thing that brings the team together and gets them on a surge where they can move up the standings in the East, because they're only like 3 games out of 6th place right now.
Well, I tell you what, I mean, I said this all along with this team. I look at it to be liken it to what Boston went through last year in the first half. First half, Boston was, they were talking about trading guys.
Yeah.
There was so much disarray in the locker room, but they figured out in the second half and had one of the hottest, teams in the second half of the season and parlayed that all the way to the finals. I can see the Bulls doing that. They've got enough talent to win. When you look at the 3 guys, DeRozan, Levine, and Vooch, that's 3 guys every single night. They can get you 25 or more every single night. Now, when all 3 of them are clicking at the same time, the Bulls are tough to beat, and it takes pressure off of some of these younger guys. And what's going to notice is Patrick Williams has played pretty well, for the last month. I mean, he's been the Bulls' most consistent outside shooter. Kobe White, can't say enough about him. Remember I told people in the very beginning before the season even started, everybody's talking about trade Kobe, trade Kobe. What did I tell you, America? What did I tell you about the kid? I told you he was going to be better. I told you he was going to shoot the ball. I told you his handles are better. And now you look at him. He comes in there, he makes a huge difference. And he's kind of eaten into the minutes of some of these other guards.
Right.
So,
Dragic isn't playing as much.
Yeah, Dragic. Well, they're trying to save Dragic. They don't want to utilize him so much. They're trying to keep him in that 20 to 25-minute range and try to keep him away from back-to-backs, because they know where he's going to be add values in the playoffs.
I want to tell you about one of our great sponsors, our buddy Jeff Vukovic. When it comes to insurance for your auto, home, and business, make sure you contact the king agent, Jeff Vukovic. You can reach him at jeffvuk.com. That's Jeff, VUK.com. Are we going to give the Sriracha crew another shot? Or?
No, I'm giving it to Tim.
Tim's going to get Clay Aiken.
Clay Aiken.
Nope. I gotta refuse.
No.
I do.
Why? Because you're on a juice cleanse? That's another.
yeah. We got
another fabrication of reality.
Let's not go there right now, Mark.
All right, Sriracha crew, you're up. All right, they've been practicing, I guess.
Oh Lord.
Oh boy.
All right,
there we go.
Nation.
Okay, I'm sorry, guys.
It should have been me.
Nationwide is on your side.
I think Steve Stone and Benetti just.
Let me tell you something. America. There's a reason why they're the third option. Okay, they're the third option in this singing groups that we have here. That was awful. I just want to say that was awful. I think we may just have to make that a single person singing.
Yeah,
it might be D. Because Francisco sounds like he lost his vocal cords in a crap meat, and Nick, I don't know, you sound like you've been eating cactus, swallowing them. So I don't know, dry throat. So nationwide,
there you go,
is on your side. Woo! Oh, America, the Golden Pipes.
I'm sure Jeff Vukovic is saying thank you that Stacey rescued this segment.
Yeah,
make sure
you tell you something.
Did
y'all hear the friend? Did y'all hear me?
I did. That was good. Yeah. Touchdown 49ers. We are coming at you on a Sunday evening while the 49ers and Cowboys.
That's what I'm talking about.
Christian McCaffrey right up the gut for the go-ahead touchdown. These we'll talk about the football games later, but it's been a boring weekend. Blowouts, not great football, but we'll get to that later. Before we bring in our special guest, last live show we had with Eddie Johnson, the former Illini great, and he was fantastic guest. This week, we've got Detroit Pistons analyst Greg Kelser. He was the running mate with Magic Johnson on that 1979 championship team. He was the guy catching all the alley-oop passes from Magic Johnson and throwing down some really incredible dunk. So we're going to visit with Greg in just a couple of minutes. So let's take a look at the league as we get ready to bring him in. And Stacey, the hottest team right now has been the Denver Nuggets. They look like they're kind of pulling away from the field in the Western Conference. Long way to go, but it seems like that combination of Jokic and Murray and Porter Jr. is going to be pretty tough to beat out west.
Well, I've been saying this all along with this team. Once they're able to get Jamal Murray up to speed and he starts to play like he did, like he did before he got hurt, which he's starting to do now. I think he had a triple double the other night. Jokic is on his way for third MVP. Aaron Gordon is playing out of his mind. They're just the best team in the Western Conference right now. They're big, they're athletic, they can defend, they can score, they can shoot. You got a big man who's really how you defend him? I mean, seriously, how do you defend Jokic? You can't put anybody like a small guy on and bring the ball before he just overpowers you. He can score with either hand, and he's such a really like top-notch passer in their offense. I mean, they play through him, and he gets everybody easy shots.
Memphis had won like 10 or 11 in a row. That streak got snapped Friday night when they went into LA and they basically choked in the last 2 minutes, and the Lakers won the game. But the big story in that game was the confrontation just before halftime. Shannon Sharp was yelling at a couple of the Memphis players, and first of all, it was Brooks who was the first guy involved, and then Steven Adams came over.
It was Dylan Brooks, and then it was T. Morant, which is John Morant's father. Yeah. And listen, I mean, at the end of the day, and we say this about regular fans too, they are entitled to say whatever they want. They pay their ticket, they pay their money, they can say whatever they want. Now, when they cross the line going from verbal to physical, that's a different story. Yeah. Okay. Shannon Sharp, even though he's a former football player, Hall of Fame tight end, he paid for those seats. He's sitting in the front row. He can say whatever he wants to say.
Think he paid for those seats?
Well, it doesn't matter. He was there. Okay. He was sitting there marking. You weren't. Okay. So at the end of the day, he can say whatever the hell he wants to say. As long as he doesn't get up and put his hands on someone or like that, then so be it. These guys, these players, they got to understand, like, you say something back to a guy like Shannon Sharp. Shannon Sharp's not your regular fan. This dude was like 6'5", 240 pounds of muscle. Like, he got his earlobes have muscle in it. I mean, everything is muscle, and he's not a guy to be messed with because he got that old man strength too. Not only, I mean, he's like that. Look at that picture right there, America. See that picture?
Yeah.
That's what my dad looked like. That's what my dad looked like when I bowed up, like when I was 18 years old, and I bowed up to him, and I said, "I'm a man. I don't have to do anything you tell me to do." And then my dad said, he said, "Oh, you're gonna learn today." And then he dropped the chicken. He had the Kimbo sliced chicken in his beard. He just dropped the chicken and raised up for the table. And then all of a sudden, Stacey getting ready to get a two-piece. But I used Usain Bolt out of the house, baby. Couldn't catch the king. And I was pew, pew, pew. I was gone.
And the Shannon Sharp's always in a bad mood because he has to work with Skip Bayless every day. So if that doesn't put you in a bad mood, I don't know what would.
Well, he almost smacked him 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
I was really hoping he would.
Yeah, after those crazy comments, he boycotted the show for one day.
Yeah.
Then he came back. And you know what, though? The checks are too big to walk away from that. But I'm sure if he had his druthers, he'd much rather have a different partner.
Well, and then as good as Shannon is on that show, Skip Bayless has a lot of juice.
Yeah,
so
that's why he's still on the air.
He could work it to where Shannon never worked for Fox again. He'd have to go to ESPN.
Yeah. Yeah, that was the whole Shannon Sharp thing was hilarious. And then after the third quarter, he and T. Morant were hugging already. So it was all good.
T. Morant, aka Usher.
Yeah, he looks exactly like
okay, America. Here's what I don't understand.
There's the hug.
Right there. There it is right there.
Hug it out.
Yeah, there it is. So here's what I don't understand. Like, is it so bright in the arena you have to wear glasses? I just
no, his son's future is so bright. He's got to wear shades.
I've never understood how anyone can sit in the game with sunglasses on and watch sunglasses. I just watch a game with sunglasses on. Is it the cool factor? Like, I want to let everybody know I'm in the front row, and so if I wear sunglasses, they'll draw more attention to me. Or do you have glaucoma? I mean, is there a medical reason why you have the blue blockers on? I mean, you really got a problem. Put the blue blockers on. They walk out some big square, Professor X. What's the guy name that shot the thing out? Cyclops.
The Cyclops.
Shoot the Cyclops thing. I mean, come on, man. The sunglasses need to stop, man. That's terrible.
Hey, Greg Kelser's in the Sriracha waiting room, so we're not going to keep him waiting any longer. We're going to talk about the NBA, his trip to Paris. Of course, he was doing the TV work for the Pistons and the glory days back at Michigan State. That's next on Give Me the Hot Sauce. We're gonna delay the Christopher Walken hot sauce pitch just a bit. It's coming up as well. So keep it right here. Welcome back to Give Me the Hot Sauce. Time to welcome in our special guest this week. He is Greg Kelser, the TV analyst for the Detroit Pistons. Our older listeners and viewers will remember his days at Michigan State as the running mate for Magic Johnson as they went on to beat Larry Bird for the 1979 NCAA championship, followed by a great NBA career. And he was also in Paris with Stacey over there when the Bulls played the Pistons. Greg, welcome into the show. How was Paris for you? Stacey just talked about all the sightseeing he did and had a great time. How was it for you guys with the Pistons?
Oh, likewise, we had a great time too. We were there almost 5 days, and it gave us a chance to experience the lifestyle, the culture, appreciate great city of Paris with all its history. I'd never been there before. I've been to Europe, but I'd never been to France. So for me, it was particularly a thrill to get to do that. And at some point, I guess we all had to realize that the Pistons and the Bulls, we were there to play a basketball game, but the 3 days prior to the game was a lot of fun. I actually climbed the towers as far as they would let us go anyway. But that was a highlight. I mean, we got a chance to go to the home of the U.S. ambassador in France, to Paris, and that was a thrill. I had a night out at the opera, and then a basketball game, and then we flew back. And I'm still trying to kind of recalibrate myself.
Talk a little bit about the game and experience the game ops and everything that they put together. I kind of felt like it was an all-star caliber game. There was a who's list. We had Naomi Campbell out there. Magic was at the game. We had Little Baby. Pharrell was at the game. I mean, there was all these stars at the game,
Right.
and it just felt like it was an all-star caliber field.
You know what's funny, Stacey? Urban Johnson, Magic didn't even know there was a game. He was there on business and to celebrate his wife Cookie's birthday.
Really?
Yeah, he was staying at the same hotel as our owner, Tom Gores. They ran into each other in the lobby and like, what are you doing here? What are you doing here? Well, hey, we're here for this basketball game. What basketball game? Really? Okay, well, why don't you come on out? That's how it all started and ended for him. So he was able to do 3 or 4 things in one trip.
Wow, I did not know that.
And
Yeah.
he ended up sitting right next to the commissioner in the front row. Magic doesn't have a tough time getting a good seat, does he?
No,
You just show up and you got front row, man.
yeah. Hey, listen.
Stacey can probably do that with 3 tickets.
Hey, listen. I'm just a man sitting next to the man. G. I'm just. Hey, I just ride the coattails, baby.
Hey, Greg, people forget that back when you and Magic were playing together at Michigan State, you were getting a lot of the headlines because you were the high-flying guy who was throwing down those alley-oop dunks, and people love watching you play. And Magic, of course, came in with a lot of fanfare in Michigan State, but you guys took Larry Bird down in the championship game, and that was one of the most watched college basketball games in history. What are your memories of that championship game against Bird and all the hoopla surrounding it?
Well, I'll back up to when we first got Urban. I was after my sophomore year at Michigan State. By today's standards, I could have probably been the 2nd or 3rd pick in the draft. Averaged 22 points and 11 rebounds a game at Michigan State in the Big Ten as a sophomore. But guess what? We were a 500 team, so who knew? Who cared? We get Urban, and now all of a sudden, my junior year, we make it to the regional finals, almost get to the Final Four, and everybody knows who Michigan State is. And then the next year we win it. So that's what he brought. He brought the opportunity to win. Stats, stats down the drain. Everybody's gonna get your stats when you're winning. And that's the thing that I'm most appreciative of my 2 years with Magic Johnson at Michigan State. We were one of the best teams in the country, and we were able to culminate it with a championship. And I think the thing that cements it in stone for us and the memories of a lot of and even people who may not have even been living at that time because they play the game every year. You had Urban and you had Larry, 2 of the greatest ever played, 2 that are credited with bringing the NBA back to prominence, competed in that game. So it has shelf life. It's been 43 years now since we played that game, but almost 44 years since we played that game, but it's still talked about like it happened 4 years ago. And so I'm very proud to have been in it, to play a part in it, to have won it. And for me personally, it has helped. And Stacey may feel the same way. When you're part of a winning team, when you're part of a championship, his was at the NBA level, mine was in college. But what it does, you're a champion forever. No one can ever take it away, and it will open some doors for you perhaps later on. I've been a broadcaster far longer than I've been a basketball player. I got to believe that maybe being a part of that team has helped in many ways.
Talk about, because we all know, how Magic Johnson's personality is, I remember seeing those games, in that 79 Final Four. And then
So young, you were a young boy.
yeah, yeah. So when he came on campus, like,
Yeah.
what was the feeling? Because it seemed like he could win anywhere he wanted to go. And
Oh, yeah.
so
He
talk
could have
a,
gone.
yeah, talk a little bit about that. Like, what was his personality? Was it like what we see now that people see him, when he was the Lakers, the smiling, happy go lucky, but the killer is there. Was he like he is now?
Much the same in terms of the competitiveness. And yes, he had the smile. He's always had that. He's always had that zest and zeal, the exuberance of playing basketball. And he's always won. Every place, I don't know that he's ever had a losing season, ever.
Wow.
When I met him, I was a senior in high school. He was a sophomore in high school. And Michigan State was recruiting us both with the idea that if we get them both there, we could contend for a championship, maybe win one. And that was the selling point to me, being that I was 2 years older. Come, we're going to load this thing up, and we'll be ready by the time you're a junior or senior. When he got on campus, the thing that really impressed me was his acumen, his basketball knowledge. He was very, very smart. And he was 17-year-old at that time. By the time the season started, he was 18. But he came in as a leader. The leader that you saw that most people were familiar with him being the leader of the Lakers, the exact same thing he did at Michigan State. He came in with the idea of helping us win right away, making everybody a part of it, putting on a show, entertaining the crowds, be it on the road or at home, but most importantly, winning. And that's what we were able to do. That's what he brought. He didn't have, I mean, he had a confidence, he had a cockiness, but it was a good, good natured cockiness. As a competitor, he was second to none. He wanted to win in everything. And we let him lead. We let him lead. He and I were co-captains. We led, differently. I did it more, with my actions and the way I played, the way I worked out, and the way I prepared. He did it with all of that. Plus, he was very, very boisterous.
Younger fans have gotten the chance to relive the Bulls dynasty through the documentary series that was put out, the 10-part series that came through the pandemic. And Magic Johnson has really blown up recently. He did like a 4-part series on Apple TV, some really revealing interviews. There was a series on the Lakers on Hulu, and then that crazy show on HBO called Winning Time, where they had actors playing the parts of basketball players. Did you see any of that? And did any of the Michigan State stuff surprise you with the liberties they took with reality?
I saw some of it. It is still on my watch list. The entire thing. I plan on binge watching it. I just haven't had the full 10 or 12 hours to chew it just yet. But it's my intent on watching it. But I saw enough of it to know that there was some definite creative liberties taken. Not just with Michigan State time, but also that whole Lakers thing. I was close enough to it to say that's not how that went. But I tell you what, a lot of people understood that who were watching it. They didn't care. They were entertained by it.
Right.
And that's what mattered.
Talk a little bit about your big game against Notre Dame, because I look back at some of my big games in the tournament, and that's where you really want to have your big game. You had 34 points, I think 13 rebounds against Notre Dame, which had like 4 NBA guys on there. Bill Hanslick, you had Orlando Woolridge was on that team. Bill Laimbeer was on that team, and then Kelley was on that team. Talk a little bit about that game, because I saw some videos. I said, they're dunking on everybody. You got like 4 or 5 dunks running the floor like a gazelle.
But you know what? I remember that was our best game. Even better than the championship game. And it was pretty well thought that the winner of that game probably would win it all. Notre Dame had gone to the Final Four the year prior. And I think they lost to Duke in the Final Four, and then Duke lost to Kentucky. We lost to Kentucky that year by 3 points, or we would have been in the Final Four that year too. But Notre Dame was a team, unlike today, guys, when every game is on TV all over the country. It wasn't like that in 1979. You may have been been lucky enough to get 2 or 3 regular season games on television, on national TV, and then whatever you might get in the tournament. But you had to get to the tournament first. Well, Notre Dame, they were on TV all the time. Notre Dame and UCLA, they were the 2 exemptions. They played all the time. So we watched these guys, and we're like, you know, we're every bit as good or better, and we love to play them. So when we got and then the final, I guess the final little salt in the wound was when the brackets came out, and we were in the same in the same region, and they were ranked. They were a number 1 seed. We were a number 2 seed in Midwest, Mideast regional level. And so, you know, we knew that, you know, we looked at it and said, okay, we're going to meet these guys in the regional final. We're going to meet these guys for the right to go to the Final Four. And that's exactly how it played out. We were pumped for that game. We were pumped for that game. So much so, I remember me personally, I missed my first 4 or 5 shots in a row. And then I made like 15 of the next 16. So,
Wow.
you know, it was a great game for us, a great showcase for us. It demonstrated our ability to get up and down the floor. We were a running team, and you know, Stacey, the teams you play in your conference, they can figure out a way to take some of that away, and you play these little grind out games and all of that. And the minute you get to the tournament, you play these teams that aren't as familiar, you can really open it up.
Yep.
That's what we were going to do against Notre Dame. We opened it up, and it was incredible. And I still, you know, I remember Al McGuire and Dick Emberg on the call. They did a fantastic job with that game.
Oh, I would urge all, or if anybody's a historian of the game, you love college basketball, and you're a big fan of college basketball, go back on YouTube, go look it up. It's the 79. It was a game before the Final Four, right? You guys won that region to get to the Final Four, right?
That was the victory that put us into the Final Four in Salt Lake City.
You were the most outstanding, the MOP they call it, the MOP, the most outstanding. Yeah. I got one of those too. I got one of those Southeast region.
I remember you very well in college. I was you guys so much. Actually, you were a fantastic player too. And I thought you were going to be the number 1 player taken in the draft that year, but things worked out. You went to the right team.
Baby, I didn't win a championship at the college level. We got to
I didn't win one at the NBA level, or 2 or 3. But I was a big fan.
I appreciate that, G. I appreciate it. One more. So before we get off the Michigan State, we're gonna get off the break. What was it like playing for Judd Heathcote? Like, what was that experience like? He's considered one of the best coaches in Big Ten history, one of the best coaches in college basketball. Talk a little bit about your relationship with him and him as a coach.
I played 3 years for Judd Heathcote. I was recruited to Michigan State by Gus Kanakis, the then head coach, and I was so impressed with Gus Kanakis. I don't know if anybody has done what I did in terms of I signed with Michigan State. I'd never seen it play. Now, I grew up in the military. I'm not from Detroit, but Detroit has been my home for the last 42 years. My dad was in the Air Force. He was from Detroit. And when he finished his 20 years in the Air Force, we moved to Detroit. So 3 straight years in high school, which was key. Prior to that, I'd gone 10 schools in 9 years all over the country and abroad. Wow. I started playing basketball in Okinawa. When Gus Kanakis and his staff began recruiting me, they were so impressive in terms of the way they came and really embraced my entire family. They really recruited my parents. My parents were like, "This is where you ought to go," and I fully agreed with them. And I signed with Michigan State. I'd never seen the campus. I'd never been in East Lansing, Michigan. I did take a visit. I signed, but I wouldn't play for Gus Kanakis. So you can imagine, I was devastated when he was let go after the first year. My first year, we were picked to finish 9th in the conference. We finished 4th in the conference. So we exceeded all expectations, and they still let him go. They brought in Judd Heathcote from Montana, University of Montana, where he'd had a lot of success, but none of us knew who he was. And so he came in. It was the total other end of the spectrum from what we had grown accustomed to with Gus Kanakis. It was definitely a major adjustment that had to be undertaken, and it wasn't easy. It wasn't easy because Joe he was hard nosed. He was a ball buster. He was my way or the highway guy, and there wasn't room for many mistakes or errors. So I have to admit that for a while, getting used to that basketball for the first time was not a whole lot of fun for me because he was pounding every day. But I came to understand and realize there was a method to his madness. That he really understood the game. He knew how to shoot great X's and O's, and worked hard and maybe didn't hone in so much on how the message came, but what the message was actually trying to impart, you could get better. And that's what I did. And of course, when we got Urban, that made it a whole lot easier for everyone. He helped me to become a better player. He helped me to become a first-round draft pick. He helped me to become a champion on the college level. And knowing all I know and how difficult it was maybe to play for him, I would do it all over again. And that's the biggest compliment I think you can do. Knowing all you know, do it again. I'd do it again. Judd Heathcote was a great coach.
Greg, we had
and he was a great friend after I was done playing for him.
Really? So you had a good relationship afterward. That's what you like to hear, and I know parents like to hear that because, once you get down with your 4 years, some coaches don't really care what you do unless you're a first round pick and you're in the NBA. Right. But some of those kids don't make it to the NBA. So it's good to know that, if a guy didn't make it to the NBA, that the coach still loves him just as much as he did when he played for him. You hear that a lot about coaches.
Judd Heathcote died at the age of 90 in 2017. And in 2016, he once he finished coaching in Michigan State, he moved to Spokane, Washington. That was his home. In 2016, a bunch of us Spartans got on airplanes and we flew out for a weekend in Spokane just to hang out with the coach. I'm talking, Scott Skiles, Steve Smith, Sean Resper, so many Spartans, players, Tom Izzo, the coach, managers. We all descended upon Spokane to spend a weekend with the coach, just really to say thank you. We had a ball out there, blast. Then, of course, a year later, passed away, and we were all there for his funeral. So he had an impact, a large impact on many of us.
Greg, I want to touch briefly on your NBA career. We had Eddie Johnson on our last show, a contemporary of yours, and he talked about the fact that he was an all Big Ten player. He got drafted in the second round by Kansas City, and he was kind of overwhelmed by some of the things he had to learn to become successful at the NBA level. He talked about going to Pete Newell's big man camp to learn footwork. What was that adjustment like for you in going to the Pistons and trying to make your mark as an NBA player?
Well, the most difficult thing for me was and I think for most players coming out is the rapid fire schedule that you're faced and having to play so many games in such a short period of time. And I guess in a way, learning how to deal with, not accept, but deal with losing, because I lost more games in my first year with the Pistons than I lost in my life. And up to that point. And it wasn't easy. But it was a thrill in terms of being able to put my skills against the best in the world and do it on a nightly basis. And you had to be ready, otherwise you're going to be in for a long nights. You're going to perhaps get embarrassed. You had to come ready to play. The toughest thing for me was when I got injured. I mean, I feel like I could have been an NBA All-Star. And my second year in the league, I think 10 or 12 games in, I had all-star numbers, 10 rebounds, not 10 rebounds, but maybe 7 or 8 rebounds a game, 22 points a game. This is 10 games in. When I suffered a knee injury that changed my whole basketball life, I was able to have surgery, a couple of surgeries, and push on for another 4 or 5 years. But I was never quite the same. But do I regret it? I don't regret it because I got hurt playing as hard as I possibly could. I wish I hadn't gotten hurt. I wish I would have loved to have been able to see what a 10 or a 12, 15-year career could have netted for me, maybe a couple of championships, maybe some all-star appearances, who knows? But the one thing I always say is that the game owes you nothing. We all go and we play, and we try and get the most out of it. And some go far, others don't quite get as far. But I think for me, the biggest thing that I have gotten out of it is the career I have after basketball. That would not have happened had I not had the success maybe as a player. So I'm very, very thankful for what the game has given me. But I'd say for most players coming in, when I came in and even now, it's just learning the game, how to play it at that level, how to defend. That's one of the major adjustments that young players have coming in, how to defend and how to be even adequate defensively. And then, staying healthy and and trying to have as long a career as you possibly can. Don Cheney, you guys remember the great
Yep.
Don Cheney?
Yep.
Don Cheney was an assistant coach when I was with the Pistons. I'll never forget. He told me, he said, "Greg, stay in the league as long as you can. Stay in the league as long as you can." Now, I thought he was talking about as a player, but I'll say that now to somebody in any capacity: get in the league, stay in as long as you can, make the most of it. And I've been affiliated with the NBA now for almost 40, 45 years.
Wow. Wow. You know what? It's funny because we talk about this Piston team. We're going to switch gears and talk about this young Piston team. And the one thing that I've noticed the last couple of years is that, ever since, Dwayne Casey's been there, they're building through the draft. They're building, going with the young players, and trying to surround that young talent with some seasoned veterans that, can still play, not guys just waving towels, but guys that can actually go out there and perform. And I'm impressed with it. Like, I mean, if Kate Cunningham doesn't get hurt, that I think that Detroit team is a lot better than what we've seen. I'd like to see him and Jaden Ivey play together. I think that's going to be a dynamic backcourt for the next 10 years if they're able to stay together. And you guys are building in the right direction. Now, it's going to be pretty scary in a couple of years when you guys get some seasoning on your belt.
We'd like to think so, Stacey. Obviously, the plan this year was not to be competing for some lottery spot. We were expecting to win and maybe compete for a play-in spot at the very least. But the loss of Cade is humongous. I mean, humongous. I can't tell you what a big blow that has been. But as we talked about yesterday when we were on the phone, the decision was made, and I think it was the right decision to go ahead and have the surgery on his shin, get it out the way so that he can go on from here and hopefully have an injury-free long career. But we are young, and everybody's young at the same time in this league. It does take some time to first learn how to compete, on a nightly basis, and then finally how to win. We're learning how to compete, how to be competitive. What we're having a problem with is just winning on a consistent basis. I mean, we're in games and we have a shot at it in the fourth quarter, and something goes wrong, as can be the case a lot of times with some teams, and we end up losing games. But the one thing I will say, I've been in these situations both as a player and as a broadcaster, and it's easy when teams are not having the success that they envision to fall apart, point fingers, all that stuff. There's been none of that with the Pistons. These guys, they like being around each other. They work hard. They work after practice. They work, they lift the weights after games. They have fun on the bus, on the plane. They're together. They've stayed together, and that's the one thing I can say has been really good. There has been no dissension. They all know what they're in it for. They're all patient and they're all working hard. They never stop keeping an eye on that goal.
All right, Greg, buckle up. The third member of our podcast team, the great Tim Kelley, always does research on our guests, and he comes up with a question that may or may not make any sense. So, Tim, what do you got for Greg today?
All right, Greg. Can you tell us a story about your Magic's matching Mercedes that you guys got your senior year?
Oh, baby, is there a statute of limitations? Oh, baby, NCAA. Don't listen, baby. Turn off the show. Better try to get him in trouble, Tim.
That's right.
Here's the deal on that. So Urban and I and Jay Vincent, we were Jay wasn't going to come out. We knew Urban was coming out after the season was over, and we always talked about either getting a Mercedes or getting a Cadillac or something like that. And man, I like Mercedes. Urban's like, I like it too. So we went about the business of trying to put the best deal we could put together, to buy a pair of these vehicles. And we went to the local dealership, man, believe it or not, this guy didn't want to deal with us. He was willing to sell us vehicles, but at sticker price, full price. And Urban and his agent had a much better deal in Chicago waiting, and I had a much better deal with my academic advisor, who was from Cleveland. He had put together a really good deal in Cleveland. So Urban went to Chicago, saved 15% on the vehicle, which was a lot of money. And I went to Cleveland and got mine, and we came back to Lansing. And we met, and they started taking pictures, and we went to a basketball court, and we parked them on a basketball court, shot some hoops around it and everything. All the folks came out of the dorms and everything. It was just like a big, big showtime party or something. The next day, the AP Wire had picked that picture up, and it was all over the country. And it was under the heading, "This is what future NBA dollars can buy you." Because we were both still in school, but we were done with our eligibility. So it was okay to get those figures. We didn't have any money. Our agent set the deal up, and we started paying on them after we got drafted. And it was nice being 21 years old and Urban 19, and we're riding around in shiny, brand new Mercedes.
We got the picture up right now, Stacey, on YouTube. The matching Mercedes, yeah.
Well, NCAA is on line one. They want to talk to Timmy Whispers and find out where he got the information from.
See, at Oklahoma, you could get that Mercedes at the beginning of college.
Hey, you know what? I ain't gonna lie, G. I took a pay cut when I came to the league. I'm upset about it. NCAA statute of limitations, baby, can't come back and get us. NIL now. NIL? Yeah, no. Yeah, so yeah, I know how that feeling is. Let me tell you, Wayman, when I came to Oklahoma, and I signed with them in the summer, and Wayman decided to go pro his senior year. So they just came off the Elite Eight. They lost to Memphis in the Dallas Southeast region and missed going to the Final Four. And Wayman told me he was, he wasn't coming back. He wasn't coming back to Oklahoma. He was going to go pro. And I remember him having the first El Dorado I'd ever seen. It was clean. And I remember him driving that El Dorado in front of the girls' dorm and honking the horn, and all the girls came out. And that's when I knew I was coming to this school. I was glad I signed with Oklahoma, baby. Oh, Lord. I got the Wayman tears. I'm sorry.
Let me ask you a question, Stacey. Wayman, he was a legend.
Yep.
But did you know he was so musically talented at that time, or did that come later?
No, he had been musically talented. He played in his dad's church as a young boy. So even when he was at school, he had a bass. Now you got to remember he's left-handed. So they didn't have basses back then for left-handed people. So he had to learn how to play it a different way. And really super musically talented, man. I mean, he'd just sit there and you'd be in the room with him, he'd be strumming away. It was an amazing thing. So then when he decided that that's what he wanted to do and go into music, it didn't surprise any of us.
Oh, he was fantastic. I still have all his stuff, and definitely gone too soon.
Yeah, you know what? One of the not only one of the coldest players in the history of basketball, but one of the nicest people. He's always been my mentor since I was in high school. He took me under his wing. We're both left-handed. We played for the same AAU team, and he took me under my wing probably when I was about a junior in high school. And I used to go up to Norman and hang out in his dorm. I used to think that was the coolest thing because, you up there with this superstar. This dude dropping 67 on people, And I remember going on visits, and people, when they thought I was from Oklahoma, that's all they wanted to talk about was Wayman. Wayman dropped 50, 60. I remember Lim Bias asked me, is Wayman as good as what they're saying he is? I said, man, he's better. He's better, dude. That dude's unstoppable. And would have been the first 4-time first team consensus All-American had he stayed his senior year.
Oh yeah. Oh, no question about it. By the way, we our march to the championship in '79, we played your coach in our second game, I think, Cubs.
Billy Tubbs.
Yeah, he was at Lamar.
Yeah, he was at Lamar. Y'all beat him. Obviously, you beat him. Did you beat him bad?
We beat him bad. The funny thing is, they played the University of Detroit in their first game. We had a bye. And they beat Detroit. They upset Detroit. Detroit had Terry Durod, Earl Cureton.
Oh wow!
And they got on television, and two of the big stars from the game talked about, okay, well we just knocked off Detroit. We'll get Michigan State next. We'll be done with the state of Michigan.
Wow!
That's all we needed to hear.
And that's how Tubbs was. Tubbs was a brash dude. I remember winning the first time in Kansas, in Lawrence, Kansas, for the first time in like 5 years, and it wasn't even for the conference leader, and it was just a regular conference game. There were still about 15 games to go in conference, and he said, "Hey, go get some scissors and go cut the nets down." So we was like looking at him like, what? We'll cut the nets down. He said, yeah, go out there and cut them damn nets down. We won. So I'm like a freshman. I'm like, I'm going to cut this down. So I'm going out there with these older dudes, man. They people throwing things at us, trying to hit us in the head. I mean, they would not let us cut the nets down. Police came and escorted us off, but it was that kind of attitude that like we liked as players. Like he really stood up. He really stood up for his players, man. And a funny thing too, in that '79 tournament, Oklahoma lost to Indiana State, the Larry Bird team. So Oklahoma was in that. It was in that tournament as well. And then Tubbs ended up going over there the next year.
Hey, Greg, speaking of
Yeah.
those brackets, what do you think about when Obama was first in office and he was doing his brackets on national TV and said, "I got to go back to the good old days with Magic Bird and Kelley."
You know what? Somebody called me that morning, woke me up, and said, "Hey, did you hear? You got a shout out from the president." I couldn't.
Yeah.
That was stunning for me. That was stunning. I so appreciate it, though. Yeah, I was a new kind of celebrity for a few days after that. So that was tremendous. But you know what? I think at the time he was probably 17, and probably one of his childhood memories that he'll never forget. And we all have them. We all have them.
Well, I tell you what, you're one of the best in the business, man. I'm glad to call you a friend, and I appreciate you coming on and taking the time. We're back to work tomorrow.
Yes, we got Milwaukee.
We got Atlanta, and then we got back to back with Indiana. In Indiana, we're going on a 4 or 5 day road trip. So
Right.
off the road, being back on the road.
There it is. Well, Stacey, I appreciate you, man. Anytime you want me on, just give me a call. I admire you. I enjoy your work, and I look forward to seeing you again soon.
Yes, sir.
And Greg, Stacey's a big business what's the right word? Entrepreneur.
It's a French word.
He's
Yeah,
got
it's a French
he's
word.
got his own signature hot sauce. So we're going to send you some of those bottles your way so you can sample the best hot sauce in the business.
Now I got Tim's name, and your name is
Mark.
Mark and
Yeah,
Tim.
yeah.
Hey guys, enjoy being on here with you as well.
Thank you.
Maddie's gonna get your address to send this my signature hot sauce. Trust me, it'll be some of the
All
best
right.
hot sauce you have ever tasted. Boy.
I love hot sauce. I look forward to that.
I'm looking forward for you to get it and give me your review.
I will.
Greg Kelser, our special guest on Give Me the Hot Sauce. We're coming back. We'll talk a little bit of football and what we're watching on TV. That's next on Give Me the Hot Sauce. Well, you heard our special guest, Greg Kelser. Can't wait to get his shipment of Stacey's special hot sauce. And we got a special guest to tell you how you can get your bottles as well. Christopher Walken, back from Fort Myers.
Hi, thanks for having me back.
We missed you last show.
I doubt it. I mean, there was no fanfare at all. No one cared. All right. Are you looking to score some of the hottest sauce in the game? Well, you're in luck. We've got all the sauce your kitchen needs from Chicago Fire 1871, the hottest of the bunch, to our king's favorite, St. Pet's Verde. Give Me the Hot Sauce has got you covered. Stop by GimmeTheHotSauce.com. Use code KING21 to get 21% off your first order.
It's good to have you back, Chris.
Thanks.
So what was Whispers doing on Fort Myers? Did he package any hot sauce when he was down there?
He was packing something. It wasn't hot sauce.
Oh wow. Okay. This is a rated G channel, buddy.
I was talking about concealed carry.
Oh. You got concealed carry?
I do.
Well, you got to when you're a big star like Christopher Walken.
That's right. You never know when you got to whack somebody.
Do you have it now?
That's right.
Maybe you need to go to a different room, Christopher Walken. You know, he's on this little raw. Show Chris Walken. Show the little raw dye you're on. He's cleansing America because he's tired of getting packed with hot sauce. So he's decided to cleanse.
You can do the hot sauce cleanse too. If you drink enough of that, believe me,
That'll
it'll
clean you
system.
out.
Just
Yeah,
like
yeah.
Whispers. Just like Whispers.
It's good for you.
It's
Don't
good
look at
for
me,
you.
D. You're next.
Hey, the last NFL playoff game is in the books. The San Francisco 49ers hung on to beat the Dallas Cowboys 19-12. None of the games were particularly exciting this weekend. Some people call it the best weekend in sports. We get the 4 semifinalists going head to head, but Patrick Mahomes got hurt, and that game wasn't that great. Giants got destroyed by the Eagles, and the game Buffalo didn't really play well this afternoon either. So it was kind of a weird semifinal round.
I'll tell you what, give Cincinnati credit. They went into Buffalo in the snow and won that game.
Oh, they played well.
Completely dominated the Buffalo Bills, which I don't think anyone thought was going to happen. All right. Joe Burrow
He's
is
the real deal.
He's the man. Yeah.
He's the real deal. Yeah. Joey B. He's the real deal.
Joe Cool. Get some more fur
Joe
coats.
Cool. Yeah, get some more fur coats coming there with the chain on in Kansas City. He's going up against Patrick Mahomes, who's not 100%. And they could win that game because it's not like.
Well, they beat him last year in Kansas City.
Listen, Kansas City does not. You don't fear Kansas City now, especially with Patrick Mahomes not being 100%.
If he can't scramble,
I think he's got a third-degree sprain. They said high ankle sprain.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that. High ankle sprain is no joke. It's not like they can wave their magic wand and 7 days later he's going to be better.
And the thing about Patrick Mahomes is because he moves around in the pocket so much and really extends plays, that is going to really limit his ability to do those things and to evade a rush. Cincinnati's got a pretty good, solid defense, so especially in the front four, they can put a lot of enormous pressure on him. They could blitz because they know that he can't move around.
Yeah.
So they're going to have to use some bubble screens. I'm sure Andy Reid's going to have a game plan to go against what they're going to face against Cincinnati.
And there's no fear factor for the Bengals going in there because they beat them last year. Matter of fact, they've beaten them 3 times in a row, counting regular season games. So they're going to go into Kansas City and they're going to feel like, hey, we're the favorites in this game against the Chiefs.
Well, as long as you got Joe Cool there, that kid exudes confidence, and Jamar Chase is an excellent T. Higgins is another great receiver, and then Joe Mixon was the reason why they run today.
Yeah.
Joe Mixon, Boomer Sooner Joe. Shout out to the Sooners, boy. I think he had over 105 yards rushing, and really kept Buffalo's defense on the field and their offense off the field.
The Eagles look great in just dismantling the New York Giants on Saturday night. And 49ers got through with Brock Purdy, but that was probably one of his less impressive efforts. Of course, he was the last pick in the draft this year and has done a magnificent job getting them as far as he has. How do you look at that San Francisco-Philadelphia matchup?
First of all, America, I just want to say the Cowboys need to make a quarterback change. They need to get a new quarterback. Dak Prescott is just not doing it for him.
He was good last week against Tampa Bay.
Yeah, but come on, that's Tampa Bay. Come on, man. Everybody's, listen, Dak Prescott threw 2 interceptions today. They were
early,
costly interceptions. His inability to move the ball down the field. I mean, CeeDee Lamb was open in full stride. It blew right by the cornerback. All you had to do is throw it up there and let him run underneath it. Couldn't even get it there. And then the biggest problem I have with Dak Prescott is you are supposed to be a dual threat quarterback. You are no longer a dual threat quarterback. You have now just regulated yourself to be the Red Rocket, Andy Dalton, because all you do is stay in the pocket. Sometimes in these situations, man, you got to move. You got to get out and run and get that first down. You can't keep trying to look for an open man. I mean, keep your eyes up the field, but when you got lanes to run, you got to run. Get the 10 yards, get out of bounds, slide, do whatever you got to do. It's almost like he's afraid. Me and Tim were talking about it. It's almost like he's afraid because he's been hit so many times that he refuses to run.
Yeah. And they're also going to be in the market for a new kicker as Brett Maher
Oh, man.
really hurt them in the postseason. Although it was
Yeah.
not, he did miss an extra point that was blocked, but that was not a deciding factor in the game on Sunday night. Hey, Tim, your guy, Drew the Water Guru, Stacey sent something out on the group text with him doing his little spiel.
Oh,
Yeah,
man.
them up forever chemicals.
Do we have that?
What,
Do we
what
have
was that?
Do
I
we have
mean,
it, guys?
He puts out these videos all the time.
has he got like
every week.
millions of followers? Drew the
No,
Water
he's got
Guru?
he's got 8 followers.
Eight.
8 followers, and that was his family, his children's friends. That's how 8 followers.
But when I was watching, I'm thinking, okay, he's practicing, and then now we'll do the real one. You know,
No, when I saw him, he had a white beater on with he had hair on his
spaghetti sauce.
hair on his shoulders, and he had like a marinara sauce stain on his shirt. So I mean, you know, I'm like, and he's trying to sell water. I'm like, I wouldn't buy water from this guy. Where'd he get it from? Where'd he get the water from the toilet?
But you listen to what he was talking about, the forever chemicals?
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, he does give good information. It's kind of scary.
Chief Little Legs, if you're out there listening, because I know you are. Hey man, we love you, man.
Yeah.
Listen. Just put a shirt on next time.
So tell the folks about Angel Water
Yeah, go
Whispers.
ahead,
Come on.
Oh,
Well,
man.
read it, Tim.
All right. There's a lot.
After we destroy him,
After he destroyed his best friend, he destroyed his
Sorry.
best friend. Just lost another sponsor.
Sorry, Drew, the water guru. There's a lot of nasty crap in Chicago water.
There you
And
go.
that's why we only drink the high quality Angel water with no forever chemicals in it right here. Here in the Hot Sauce Studios. Stay hydrated all year long with
and
water
it
you
is
can
hot
trust.
in the Hot Sauce Studios.
It is.
Very
It's a little
hot.
toasty.
It's hot.
It could be those sweaters you guys are wearing. but-
Well, it's freaking cold outside. What do you think?
yeah, but it's not cold in here.
Well, you want us to walk around with a woman beater, a wife beater on in here? I mean, what are you
I think
talking
we should
about?
try that one, Joe.
No, it's hot as
Just
hell in
all
here,
wear
man.
tank
Oh
tops.
my god, I'm like Frosty the Snowman in Vegas at a pool party. Jesus.
Call 847-382-7800 to get your water tested for free today by Drew, the Water Guru.
Drew, I need another bottle of water, please. I'm dying out here, man. I'm dying. I'm just slow death. I drink. Look, this is so good. I drink it.
Look, there he is on the bottle.
It's hot in here, man. It's getting hot in here.
Time for our favorite segment, What Are We Watching? Brought to you by none other than Biggers Mazda.
Biggers.
Their sizzling new Elgin location at Randall Road is the biggest Mazda store in the state of Illinois. Recently celebrating their grand opening, Biggers is offering a bottle of Stacey's signature hot sauce with the first test drives of new or pre-owned vehicles. Your choice, everything from the coolest SUVs to a stunning Miata. Come join the fun at 2100 Randall Road in Elgin at Biggers Mazda.
Biggers.
Of course, Stacey's been in
Biggers.
Paris. Really haven't had a chance to. Did you ever finish the half season of Yellowstone? Did you get through that yet?
No.
All right. Well, I won't give you any spoilers.
No, don't say anything.
Oh, remember that one part, Mark?
Yeah, that was amazing. Like Chris Farley. Remember the time? That was awesome.
That was awesome.
So, Whispers, you got something that you can sell the folks on?
Well, I did Avatar too, like
Oh, you
Stacey
did?
just
Okay.
did. and that
Yes,
was good.
Avatar too.
But what's really disturbing is that show White Lotus. I watched the first season, now in the second one.
Yeah.
Because people were talking about it. Wow.
Did you see on Saturday Night Live yesterday? They did Black Lotus
No.
with Aubrey Plaza was the host. It was hilarious.
Oh, I
that
gotta
was
go back
funny.
and
Check
see
that
that.
out. Yeah.
Yeah. Have you watched that?
White Lotus?
Yeah.
I got through 2 episodes, just didn't care for it.
No, that's the thing. I'm like, this has to go somewhere. So I kind
Yeah.
of force myself to.
Yeah.
And then it does get really kind of intense and just
Right.
completely off the rails. And yeah, because of where it goes, it is actually worth watching.
Yeah, it's. I started watching.
It's disturbing.
It's it's very disturbing. Very
It's got a good following, though. You know, people enjoy it.
It's a dark comedy too. You have to recognize that because
Right.
you have to laugh. I mean, some of the stuff the husband is,
Steve's on.
yeah, he just kills
Yeah.
me. And the stuff he says to his
Steve's
kid
on
and
is
stuff.
funny.
Yeah, he kills.
You got anything for the folks, Stacey? I know you've been out of the country,
Oh,
so you
man.
really probably haven't been watching much TV.
Well, I went to go see Avatar 2 today, and how many years was it between the two?
About 100.
Man, it seemed like it's been a long time.
Yeah, and they didn't age, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, but we do.
I know.
We aged, okay. But I think it was over 3 hours.
And then Sigourney Weaver playing a kid. That was kind of bizarre.
That was kind of weird.
Yeah, it worked.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
Sort of.
It was good though. It was a 3-hour movie. It was good. Saw it over at Star Grill. Shout out to Star Grill.
Oh yeah, your guy's back there. I saw him the other day.
Yeah, but he wasn't there today. It was terrible service. I'm just gonna throw that out there. It's terrible service today. My waiter was bad and the service was bad. So, but if my man was there, it wouldn't have happened. So I'm gonna throw that out there. Shout out to Star Grill. You know you probably won't sponsor us now, but I don't care. Okay. So I saw Avatar, and then second is The Woman King. Get my second one up there, guys. The Woman King. I'm gonna tell you something. If you have not seen this movie, check it out. This is an awesome movie. This is kind of like the Black Panther, but without the costume.
Yeah.
She's this lady here is the head, like the general of the king's army, and it's all nothing but women. And so these women, they go in and they do these missions, and they go, they fight men. They're fighting the Westerners, and I'm telling you, man, it's a great story. It's a lot of action. I suggest people to go see that, and it's worth it. It's really, I forgot her name. What's the name of that actress right there? Do you know?
We'll get the Hot Sauce crew.
Yeah,
on
the
that.
Hot Sauce crew. They're looking at me like, what are you talking about?
Hey, I found a show that was a lot of fun to watch called The Recruit on Netflix about a young attorney who's looking for something more exciting. So he joins the CIA as he's supposed to be a lawyer for the CIA.
Oh, yeah.
And he gets
Is that a
thrown out.
remake?
He gets thrown out into the field, and he gets in this high level controversy, trying to get this Russian prisoner not to drop a dime on the CIA. It's really twisted, but there's a lot of humor in it, which makes it a lot of fun. I mean, a lot of these shows kind of follow the same formula, but he's got a bunch of his coworkers that he's the new guy. Obviously, you can see by the photo how young he is, and they're all trying to sabotage him. So it's a lot of fun, a lot of humor along the way.
Yeah, I was talking to Francisco. He was watching To Catch a Predator because he was on episode 17.
Chris Hansen.
Chris Hansen caught him.
You know who I am?
Sir, why are you there with that Mount Prospect tight T-shirt on?
I don't know why Nick's laughing. He was on. What would you do with John Quinones?
There's the Hot Sauce crew.
That's the Hot Sauce crew right there. Chris Hansen popped out of the kitchen. He said, what are you doing with that tight T-shirt on you had in the 9th grade? Well, Chris, is it okay if I leave? Yeah, you can leave. As soon as he walked out the door, he got mobbed by like 8 police officers.
We have some good news and some bad news. The bad news is the girl you're talking to isn't showing up.
Seriously, no, America. He wasn't on To Catch a Predator, but I love that show.
Yeah.
Dude, I love that show, man. I mean, I love Chris Hansen when he pops out of nowhere. The little girl goes, I'll be right back. I've been checking on the cookies. And then the guy come in here and he goes, just make yourself comfortable. And the guy started taking his clothes off. He's sweating. It's hot, like in his room. It's hot. He's sweating. And then all of a sudden, Chris Hansen pops out in his little suit. So John 7274241, what are you doing? Why are you here? Oh, I was just here to they said it was going to be a party. Do you see any people? I love Chris Hansen, man. Seriously, I love it. I mean, until he got caught. He got caught doing something. Chris Hansen
got caught doing something.
Chris Hansen got caught doing something. Somebody caught him. So sorry, Chris Hansen. I didn't want to tell everybody that, but you did get caught doing something.
Hey, next show, we're gonna have to get Mike's. What is he watching? Your Windy City Drive.
Oh boy,
Yeah.
Mike is getting ready to go to the Springsteen concert. He's going to? He's a big Bruce Springsteen fan.
Yeah.
Okay, Mike listens to Bruce Springsteen all the time. I don't got Mike tonight.
You don't have Mike.
I drove Sheila myself, baby.
Oh.
I was at the movie, baby. I had to drive myself. So Mike is going to the Bruce Springsteen concert. He's going to one there's one in Tampa Bay. There's one overseas, and I think it's Paris. I think it's in France. He's going there. And so shout out to my man Mike.
Business is good for Mike.
Yeah, but business is booming.
Yeah.
He's working for me tomorrow because he's gonna take me to the game tomorrow night. He's gonna pick me up and take me to the airport. He's gonna pick me up on Saturday when I come. He was there for me when I came home from France.
Nice.
He had a Lou Malnati's pizza waiting for me.
Not a half a chicken.
No. He texted me, said, "Hey, I'm gonna pick you up. You want me to grab you a Lou Malnati's?" like a small one.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, he got one too, right? And
Nice.
so he ate his before I came in. So, so yeah, shout out to Mike, man.
Yeah.
Mike's always taking care of me. Windy City Limousine provides championship service. Making a reservation is so easy. It's a slam dunk. Let Windy City break the full court pressure of traffic to get you to your destination in style and on time. Contact Windy City at 847-916-9300. That's 847-916-9300. Or go online to windycitylimos.com.
And all you criminals out there, stay out of Whisper's neighborhood.
Yeah, stay out of there.
He's had a rough time.
Yeah, stay out of there.
Wow.
Yeah, stay out of there. Yeah.
It's a rough town,
Yeah.
man.
Chris Hansen on you. We'll pull a Chris Hansen on you. Don't do it.
Yeah.
So what happens when you're done with the cleanse? How do you celebrate that?
Cleanse.
I'm going to go ahead and get a big, nasty steak, a few beers.
No,
It's not going to be pretty.
Destroy
Just
all that
like
work you've done.
Whisper.
over the
And you know what
weekend.
it says? It says you have to ease yourself. back
Sure,
into it.
yeah.
No,
No,
you got to blitz it.
that's
Yeah.
the way you live your life.
Yeah.
though.
Nah, he's
Yeah,
going
you gotta
after the
just-
cleanse. He's going straight to the steam room naked, and he's just going to sit in there.
Man
Sit in there,
code
man code
violation.
violation.
Yeah.
Yes, there. What the hell?
That's a
You
new
know that?
violation sound.
Yes, we can say it. Yes, we can. He's going to the man. He's going to the steam room, because he'll have his abs be some definition of his abs, because in
Yeah.
5 days of not eating anything but just drinking juice.
Yeah, he's not
Ooh.
going to show off a six pack. He's going
No.
to drink a six pack
And
in
then,
the
right.
sauna.
and then he'll be out there,
It bounced right back.
and just a liquid diet. That's impressive, though, for him to be on liquid diet. That's impressive.
And this one's actually healthy
Yeah.
as opposed
Yeah.
to the usual liquid
He
diet.
let me taste
I
it.
know.
He let me taste his little watermelon water.
I mean, beer is plant based.
Yeah, it was
a lot of
um,
water in it.
It wasn't that good.
Well, there's no
It was,
there's no sugar in
I
it.
don't know. I'm just
So how
saying.
many more days, Whisper?
4 more. This is the first
Oh,
day.
he just started. Oh,
Just
my
started.
goodness.
Oh.
And Maddie was kind enough. She brought enough pizza to feed an army and wings and the whole
Yeah.
bit. And Whispers is
Yeah.
drinking water.
Yeah, I
flavored
get
water.
to stare at it.
Yeah, that's all I can do is stare at it, America. It's okay though. It's the thought that counts.
Yeah. We want to thank our guest, Greg Kelser. He was fantastic talking about playing with Magic Johnson, a 79
Great
title
guest.
team. Of course, now he's a broadcaster for the Pistons, and he was over in Paris for the game with the Bulls and the Pistons earlier this week. Bulls have a busy week coming up with 4 games, a chance to maybe move up in the Eastern Conference standings. You want to tell the folks about our guests coming up next week, or is that still under wraps? Can we announce that or no?
What day is that?
February 1st.
Oh, February 1st. We got a surprise guest, ladies and gentlemen. The one and only Michelle Beadle will be on the show.
And she will bring the hot sauce.
Yes. And wait a minute. Future guest, America. The big baller himself.
Yeah.
LeVar Ball, baby, will be on the show at some point. I had an opportunity to talk to LeVar in Paris.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, a very entertaining guy, man. He's gonna give me some big baller gear. He's gonna send me some. I just talked to his guy Joe. He's gonna be on the show. We're gonna get some big ball. Y'all not getting any big baller gear.
I
It's
know.
just me.
Yeah.
And and then the Sriracha crew, I'm getting them some.
All right, so look forward to that. Some more A-list guests coming up on Gimme the Hot Sauce.
I'm sorry, guys. I just lied. You're not getting shit. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, guys. It's just a thought. I just wanted to sound really cool on the air. I'm sorry. D, for your little comment earlier, you're not getting nothing. Okay.
Hey, thanks to all the folks on the YouTube chat. We'll be coming at you again next week with a brand new episode. That's going to do it for 115. It's in the books.
115. Drive home safe to Chicago.
It's only preseason, but I'm hyped. Bill Fox, Jimmy G. Buckets gets